I ended up running a backyard ultra, I do not know, and I still don't know to this day, and today I'm massively questioning why I even thought of the concept. A backyard ultra is you run a 6.7 kilometer loop for as long as you can, okay? But I decided to do it for 24 hours just because it was a nice round number. It's a number that's very challenging. That's basically a full day on my feet. And I chose to do it around the Quay. So obviously the two charities that I'm working with or raising money for are from Exeter. I picked the same 6.7k loop every hour for 24 hours on the app. We all know we can run faster than 6.7 kilometers per hour. But the challenge here is the mental side of it, the way it pulls you back to reality, it pulls you back to timings, it pulls you back to strategy. You don't just get there by fluke, okay? And something like that, I wanted a proper challenge, okay? And linking it back to my mum, like, she went through some crazy challenges. The only way I can give back is by doing something like that. I actually resisted running for a lot of my life. So I came from a bodybuilding background, really didn't want to get into the running side of things. In fact, I categorically, I think on multiple occasions, declared that I never wanted to run. I hated everything about running. And I actually remember saying that I would only ever run so that I could run away from a predator. And now I regret ever fucking saying that, to be fair. Running came to me at a period of my life where I kind of needed it. I was very bored of the gym stuff. I was very bored of the way I was in kind of setting my ways, and I wanted to be absolutely humbled by something. I wanted to do something to raise money for a charity that, one, is close to my heart, and another charity that's massively close to kind of lots of people's hearts that I know of in the local area. So I chose Force Cancer Charity in Exeter for the help that they kind of gave my mum during her cancer diagnosis. She was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was around kind of 16, and that's probably one of the kind of the most pinnacle kind of points in my life, really, in terms of who I became and kind of where I went with my life. Like, it was a tough time for everyone. Children's charity, obviously any work that is done with children that are not very well and need this specialist care, especially over the Christmas period, I never think it's a bad cause, especially in the way that I'm going to deliver it. So obviously the money that I was going to raise was going to be used to kind of buy presents for the children that have the misfortune to be in or have the need to even be in hospital over the Christmas period. With it being December now, I want to kind of spread something along those lines. The plan with all of my events or any race day is that I try and have a line, okay? But my body clock is so absolutely dialed, I'll wake up at my given time anyway. So that was always just hopeful thinking. Woke up in the morning and the plan was to get as much food in before the event or the race started at 12 noon as I could. Obviously, the carb loading had started way before the event. On the morning of, it was as simple as just trying to eat foods that I know I digested well, and I normally would have. I just had twice or 3 times as much of it. There was obviously tons of packing and tons of setting up that came with an event like this. I needed clothes that were going to keep me warm. I needed food to be able to eat and hit my carbohydrate criteria for the hour, let alone the 24-hour period. I need water, I need a base, I need chairs, I need sleeping bags, I need all of these things, and all of these things have to be accounted for. Like I said, you don't just stumble and complete a backyard ultra on your own, especially when you've never really dabbled with ultramarathons before, like myself. The morning of the day was pretty hectic. Like, I didn't really have time to think about what was actually going to happen, but as that 12 o'clock period got closer, I started to it just kind of started to settle in a little bit that essentially, like, this time tomorrow I will still be running. And then I started to get nervous, a little bit agitated, and if any of you know me, I'm a very high energy individual, although I might not seem it now because I'm very tired. This is actually a day after the event, so I'm still probably recovering. But normally I'm massively high energy, and I had to actually just really keep on top of that, okay? Because what I didn't want to do is, setting up for this event, be really hyper and use all of my energy before the event had even started. I didn't want to just absolutely send it and be the most talkative individual on the first few laps when I knew 10 hours, 11 hours, 13 hours down the line, I was going to be in the absolute gutters. So it was really about just keeping a cool head. keeping my head in the game, keeping my eyes on the prize, and just understanding that this is not a sprint. We've been setting up the base, getting things ready to go. Basically, there's nothing else to do now apart from just run the thing. Putting up all the signs, which proved harder than it should have.
Yeah, right. I'm like, how do I do this?
There's a hole at the top.
No, there's not. I'm trying to do it.
Careful, but. And then, yeah, starting at 12 o'clock, a few more people should come down. But to be fair, at the start of the race, or run, you need to keep it very chilled, because if I peak too soon, I've fucked it, really. Because if you peak in the first hour, you've still got 23 to go, so it's not worth it. But yeah, we're all set up, food's ready, I've had a coffee. Just found out the toilets are out of order, which is great. So, some wild wheeze and something else is to come.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, right, let's go. See you later, Mother. Goodbye, Mum.
Goodbye, Mum.
Bye, friends. See you later, boys. In true male fashion, we only kind of decided to do the event probably 2 months ago. Essentially, it came into our mind that we wanted to do something for charity, and this was the first thing that came up. So the training period was actually smaller than it should have been. The training ramped up massively on certain weeks. So my biggest week was a 165-kilometer week in running. The goal of that was to try and hit the distance that I'd run in a day, in a week, so that I knew my legs could take it, okay? That involved an 80k run, and that was pivotal for me, because before that, I was massively doubting myself.
Are you smiling at the moment?
Ow! 5 minutes early, mate.
15 minutes?
I thought you were 15 minutes early. I thought you were 5 minutes early from the 10 minutes you were supposed to be doing. Yeah.
First one's always a bit fast, and that's the first one
You're
done.
so funny. Any camera.
Show you're a millennial.
Bang. So soft.
So the event originally was a group of us, okay? So a group of close friends. Obviously, we kind of started penciling it in, we started planning it. And as with everything that people ever do, it never really leaves the group chat, okay? It's like that lad's holiday or that mate's holiday, it never actually comes into real life. A few people were a little bit more serious. I know Owen picked up quite a nasty injury, and I know he would have 100% been there. He even did some laps with me injured. That really did put quite a lot of pressure on me, okay? So I did feel a little bit of pressure going into the event, being this solo individual. What I decided to do was to create a kind of structure where people could put their names down to be on the base, so 2 people on the base, and people could run with me, okay? At no point was I alone. In fact, I don't think I ran a single lap with less than 2 people with me, okay? And I honestly do not think I could have done the event or the challenge or those horrible hours without them. Like, that meant so much to me. Like, coming back to base and having people do my water, give you the food that I needed, put the clothes on me that I needed, because at points I was fully broken. Like, I actually had nothing. I wouldn't have been able to do it for myself. So, like, although I did it alone, like, I was never alone. And everyone who was involved, like, I am so grateful. Like, I genuinely wouldn't have been able to do it without you. And I think you all know who you are. I just want to get the first 6 done, 6 p.m. Get a coffee in, night shift.
Seeing different people's faces will help.
Yeah.
Different people.
Just got to keep the energy mellow. That's what I do. Been some very chatty laps.
Yeah, too chatty.
Yeah,
What,
very,
the other Dana?
He was bouncing off your feet.
very chatty. I was doing Voldemort impression.
Were you?
Yeah. What am I gonna do? Funny is, you can't half-ass a Voldemort impression, so you just got to go for it.
Hey, today?
Feel alright, yeah. So that's 3 done. 3rd lap done.
not much to really report at this point, just a case of eating as much as I can when we break. Legs feel alright. I'm going to put some compression on at the moment. Still light, I can't really tell in these glasses, but the sun is going down. So very soon, it's about to get cold.
My approach for the challenge was that I was going to try and consistently hit between like 45 to 52 minute loops, okay? And that would give me a somewhat consistent time to sit down, recover, get physio work done, and eat, okay?
I'm in pain. This is not a smiling moment.
Just your left? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be left now then.
It's not like too bad, I can just notice it. I'm just noticing if like over stride or...
Yeah, that makes sense. I've also got a massage gun. If you want that at any point.
Unreal. That's what we boy.
From speaking to a few guys that have done ultras before, they said that do not give yourself more rest at the start, because in those later hours where you're really struggling to hit the time bracket, you will start to really get annoyed at yourself. You'll really start to pull yourself apart, like, why are you not running faster? Like, you're failing. And by hitting a consistent time every lap, that's a small win every time, okay?
Relax.
A shot of whiskey and then a shot of pickle juice.
Is that a marathon?
My friend at her wedding.
Yeah, 41, 50. So 50 minutes.
Looking good, mate.
Feel alright.
Yeah.
Feeling fresh then?
Well, that's her and got this. You have them together.
Quarter of the way, innit?
Whiskey and then the
Quarter of the way.
But the mood was good. I was going into it, I was clocking off the miles, but this was really where time started to really play with my head, because I was running a lot, or what felt like a lot, and it was only an hour, but it felt longer than an hour, so time was feeling much slower than what I originally planned it to. I knew the night time was going to be tricky, so I had done night runs, but nothing really prepares you for the stretch more and how much it actually impacts you than doing it, okay? So from about 5 onwards, in the back of my head, I was like, I've been running for what, like 5 hours, and it's already starting to get dark. Like, it was dusky, I was getting colder during my rest periods, and just my general mood started to take like a little bit of a downward trend.
It's not my legs, it's not my neck that's cold, it's my legs. See you soon. See you tomorrow.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I know. Let's go. Come on now. Oh! I was so comfy in that. Oh, that's the
Biggest battle for me was getting up after the rest. I knew the night time was going to be tricky, so I had done night runs, but nothing really prepares you for the stretch and how much it actually impacts you than doing it, okay? You can't see anything. You can't take in where you're running. You can't appreciate what you're doing. You're literally lighting up like 2-3 meters in front of you. That's all you can focus on. And yes, that might be a good thing because it is focusing you, but when you've got to focus on that same bit of tarmac for 24 hours, it suddenly starts to get a little bit like a mind game and a bit of a head fuck, really. And if I said I liked any of the nighttime laps, I would be massively lying. Like that I cannot reiterate how much that broke me. Like demoralizing, emotional, lonely. And I know I said I wasn't lonely. Like at points I felt like it was just me in the dark, and then when you're sleep deprived, you're starting to hallucinate. Like, it is just a recipe for kind of a bad head. So there was a few things that got me through the loops. This night period was tricky for me. So I started to look inside myself in terms of kind of like, why was I here? And like I said, like there's always key points in your life that kind of bring you back to kind of why you are here and why are you doing something that's ridiculous. Okay, like you could be in bed, you could be on a Christmas night out, you could be at the Christmas market. Like, why are you doing this? What's the point? And I always remember like when my mum was poorly, she came downstairs and her hair was falling out. And nothing's as bad as that, is it? So kind of that's what kind of got me through those kind of like later periods, because that's probably my worst memory to date. So that got me through the night alongside, and I said it was two things that got me through. Like the people who came during the nighttime, like I cannot reiterate. Sorry. I cannot reiterate like how much they changed the game. Okay, like I was a shell of a person when it came to that night period. Like I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to run, but the rhythm and the consistency that we created, the guys that were on the graveyard shift from about kind of anyone that ran with me from like 10 onwards till about 6 a.m, maybe 7, 8 a.m, because it was all in darkness, like you guys and girls came through. And I honestly think like I would have not been able to do that without you. I generally wouldn't. Like that was incredible. Like at some points we were just flowing, like our feet were in time, everything was in sync, we didn't speak, we knew what was going on. I didn't even have to say when the lap was finished. We were clocking up 6 minutes 30 per kilometers, which meant that I found like this really good natural rhythm. And a massive turning point for me was, yes, we need to improve, but I'd gone from being very passive in the challenge and the challenge like breaking me down to going, you know what, like let's get on the front foot with this. Like if you just let the fucking run in, and if you just let the whole thing just bully you, it will break you. Those early hours when every part of your body is telling you not to get up. Like you don't want to get up. You want that extra minute in the chair. And everything in your head is saying, you know what, like, what's a minute? Just sit down for a little bit longer. But you know, a minute's going to do fuck all in making you feel better. A minute's just going to disrupt the next lap, and then it's going to disrupt the next lap, and then it's just going to be a continuation of shit. So it really was like pure grit. Like at no point, I think from lap 5 did I want to do it. Like I can honestly say like I did not want to do it. But again, like people in my life have done harder things, and people continue to do harder things, not through choice. I chose to do this, okay? So it brings you back to reality a little bit. Like it's a choice, and everyone has a choice in the things they choose to do. So own that decision, and whether it's a toxic trait or not, like the minute I said I was going to do it, I would have kept going until my feet broke. Like I generally would. I generally feel broken now, but like I was never going to stop. The main thing that kind of was getting to me a little bit physically was that just being on my feet for that long, the fluid build-up in my legs was limiting the range of motion at my ankles. And that's a weird thing to say. Like kind of think like old person in the care home vibes, like that was my ankles. And I've never really experienced that before. I had compression socks on, I had tight compression calf socks on. So I was also getting work like manually done on me. I was putting my feet in the air, but I couldn't seem to get this range of motion back in my ankle, which obviously when you're trying to run, less than ideal. It's noticeable in the first like kilometre and a half, because a massive physical challenge is that you do the 6.7 kilometre loop, then you cool down and you rest, okay? So essentially you've got to then warm up again every lap. As you get more fatigued, that warm-up gets harder and harder, because all of the negatives from all of the work you've done is just sat there waiting for you. Like it feels stiff, and honestly, like every lap, the start of every lap was tough, and it was just overcoming that kind of physical pain that you had, because I knew that like in a kilometre and a half time, I'd be back at that 6:30 kilometre pace, and I just had to hold myself accountable to that.
I'm hallucinating like fuck. Seeing fucking people.
Mentally, like of course, like it did get dark at points. Like I found it hard, but also a blessing. So at the start, like my girlfriend was there, my family were there, and the fact that they left and then I had something to look forward to was a huge mental kind of battle, but also a really big point in the future I could look forward to. So like your girlfriend's there for the first 6 hours, so is your mum and dad. They've gone, but they're coming back. And you know they're going to come back, so you've got to be there for them. And that kind of pulls you through when your legs are sore, when you're tired, when you don't want to get up. Like, I cannot reiterate, like, I didn't want to get up for 20 laps. Like, and yeah, it's not a fun place to be.
Alright, it's just my ankles. Not bending. Just need to get the water out of there. I'm going to walk this one with Em, and then I'll do the last one with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I genuinely think like the all-in run club community, like I wouldn't have been able to do it, and I wouldn't have been able to raise the money for these amazing two charities without them. Not only from like a physical perspective, like they hold me accountable because we're out running together, we're doing track nights, we're doing Sunday run clubs, we're doing free Wednesdays where we just occasionally do half marathons with a group of 15 people. Like who else is doing that? Honestly, like it was integral to the success of that challenge. Like and that just ties massively to kind of the ethos of what All-In Run Club is. All-In Run Club is created so that we are just there for each other. We're there, we're all in for each other, we're all in for each other's progress. It's not about being great, it's not about being super fast, it's not being able to run far, it's not being an Olympic athlete. It's just being like, if someone needs it within this fitness space, we're all in for them. And that really came together on Sunday when I needed them and they were all in. They came along. They ran with me on that last lap, and running on that last lap, I couldn't even call it that. Like at that point I was broken. I walked half of that lap, but at no point did anyone go in front of me. At no point did everyone say, come on Alex, let's get into a run. At no point. That is just a testament to the kind of the people involved in the run club, and again I could not thank you enough.
Yes!
I think like the all-in community it has pushed me out of my comfort zone massively. Okay, it's shown me what I'm capable of doing, not only from kind of building that thing from the ground up, but physically, mentally, and it's brought people into my life that I would have never met, but I would now call true friends, like true allies, true people who would come and do shit for me that they wouldn't do for any other person. And I know lots of people who wouldn't do it for me, but they did stuff for me. Okay, like people brought me things. People have dropped around recovery kits so that I can recover from the event. People are messaging me. People are supporting me. But not only me, they're supporting each other. We've got a community now where I'm there, but it's very much self-sufficient. It's fulfilling itself. Like everyone is there for each other, and that's all I wanted from this. Okay, like I wanted somewhere where everyone felt safe, felt able to progress regardless of your ability. As long as you come with the right mindset and you come with the right approach, you'll be able to progress.